Meet Bilbo Baggins, eponymous hobbit who just wants to be left alone. This day, however, a beard of dwarfs appear uninvited at Bilbo's home in the Shire. Much feasting and drinking follows, all of which is provided by poor Bilbo, who does not yet know the reason for the visit. When the party finally dies down, head dwarf Thorin Oakenshield spills the beans. They seek to retrieve treasure stolen by the swift and terrible dragon Smaug, which he now guards in his dragony lair deep inside Lonely Mountain. Hobbits apparently make good burglars, ergo the dwarfs want Bilbo for their quest. Bilbo says no thanks. Then Gandalf the wizard appears and makes vague threats, and Bilbo says you got yourself a deal. So off they go, 13 dwarfs and a hobbit. After some requisite tavern bonding, our band is kidnapped by a trio of trolls. Gandalf makes a sudden inexplicable appearance and kills them. So our band continues on to the Misty Mountains, only to get snatched by a murder of goblins and dragged underground. Bilbo wriggles free and finds himself within a maze of twisty little passages all alike. Therein dwells Gollum, an odd fellow with tapetums and a speech impediment who has spent these many years obsessing over an old ring. Bilbo and Gollum play a game of riddles and vague threats. Bilbo wins on a technicality, makes off with the ring, and reunites with the dwarfs, who have found their way back to the surface. The gang makes for Mirkwood Forest with haste, knowing the goblins will be after them as soon as the sun goes down. Unfortunately, Bilbo and the dwarfs get cornered by wolves. Or, wargs, if you want to be a pain about it. They climb trees to safety, but the goblins arrive and set the trees on fire. All this ruckus gets the attention of the eagles. They zoom in and whisk our heroes to safety. In the long run, the eagles fly everyone to the Great Hall of Beorn. It's unclear whether Beorn is a bad guy or a good guy. He's written as a sort of cross between Paul Bunyan and a werewolf with pedo bear vibes. Either way, Beorn doesn't much care for uninvited eagle dwarfs. Then Gandalf makes a sudden inexplicable appearance to smooth things over, and everyone gets some well-deserved R&R. Tan, rested, and ready, Bilbo and the dwarfs head off to Mirkwood Forest, are warned not to stray from the road, and immediately stray from the road. They get webbed up by a bunch of giant spiders, all except Bilbo, because Bilbo has found that when he wears Gollum's ring he is, wait for it, invisible. Invisible Bilbo frees the dwarfs, who are then captured by soldiers of the local elf king. In contrast to the touchy-feely elves elsewhere, Mirkwood elves have a serious mean streak and aren't above sticking you with their exquisite elf swords and leaving you face down in a ditch. So our gang all get marched off to the castle dungeon, except for Bilbo, who sneaks in behind them. He begins planning their escape, all the while wearing his ring so as to remain unseen. The astute reader may pause here and speculate as to the potential alarm clock effects of Bilbo's months-long wearing of the One Ring on Sauron, who at this time is snoozing in nearby Mordor. But that is a tale for another time. Bilbo's escape plan unfolds as follows. The castle staff throw empty barrels into the river to float downstream to Lake Town, where they get refilled with apples and cholera and whatnot and shipped back. By hiding in the barrels, Bilbo and the dwarfs will escape by floating down the river. If Mythbusters tried this, they'd get a bunch of dead wet dwarfs. But things being what they are, the plan works. The folks in Lake Town don't much care for uninvited barrel dwarfs, but after much shouting the dwarfs smooth things over. There follows feasting and wenching. Finally, our guys head off to Lonely Mountain to confront Smaug. There's a subplot about a secret entrance to Smaug's lair that can only be described as Tolkien-like. Long story short, Bilbo makes it to the treasure. Bilbo and Smaug play a game of riddles and vague threats. Being invisible, Bilbo's primary concern is to not give away his identity because, vengeful beast that he is, Smaug would fly off to Hobbitland and burn down the Shire. This predictably enrages Smaug, who picks someone at random to go burn down. That turns out to be Lake Town. Smaug drops by and rains death and destruction down upon the good people of Lake Town. Fortunately, there is the proverbial chink in Smaug's armor, and in a stunning come from behind victory, Lake Town favorite Sunbard sticks an arrow in it, Voila. Dead dragon. And a burned down town. And a bunch of charred towny corpses floating in the lake. Meanwhile, Bilbo has made off with the Arkenstone, family heirloom of the Oaken Shields, which I forgot to tell you is the real treasure Thorin came for. This will figure in the plot later when Bilbo needs to talk Thorin down from his growing bunker mentality ledge. Anyhow, with Smaug now out of the picture, all of the local kings make a grab for the mountain fortress treasure stash. So the elf army comes and the dwarf army comes and the lake army comes and the goblins come and the eagles come and there's a huge battle which goes on for surprisingly few pages all things considered. Then Gandalf makes another inexplicable sudden appearance and teaches the kids to share and Bilbo talks Thorin down from his growing bunker mentality ledge using the Arkenstone. Everyone gets the part of the treasure they deserve. Peace on earth was all it said. Then it's walk walk walk. And Bob's your uncle, we're home, there and back again. The end.